I'm sitting in the senior partners conference room at Morrison Blake LLP, watching my career implode in real time. There are 7 partners around this mahogany table. I've worked with most of them for 15 years. And they're asking me to confirm what the security footage already shows, that I've been having an affair with our 26-year-old male summer associate, in my office, after hours, for 3 months. My wife Jennifer doesn't know yet. She's at home with our 2 daughters, planning our anniversary party for next weekend. 15 years of marriage. She has no idea that in approximately 2 hours when I get home, I'm going to have to tell her everything. Let me tell you how a 39-year-old partner at one of Chicago's top law firms, married for 15 years with 2 kids, threw away everything for a 26-year-old man he was supposed to be mentoring. My name is Robert Hayes. I'm 39 years old. I'm a partner at Morrison Blake, one of Chicago's most prestigious corporate law firms. I specialize in mergers and acquisitions. I make $700,000 a year. I've been married to Jennifer Hayes for 15 years. We have 2 daughters, Olivia, 12, and Emma, 9. We live in a $4 million brownstone in Lincoln Park. I went to Northwestern for undergrad, Harvard Law. I have everything a successful lawyer is supposed to have, and I just destroyed all of it. I grew up in Evanston, Illinois in the 1980s and 90s. Upper middle-class suburb north of Chicago, tree-lined streets, good schools. Country club memberships. My father, Thomas Hayes, was a federal judge for the Northern District of Illinois, appointed by Reagan, respected, feared. My mother, Catherine Hayes, was a tenured professor of political science at Northwestern University, published author, brilliant, demanding. I'm the oldest of 2 boys. My brother Andrew came 2 years after me, the Hayes boys. Destined for Ivy League educations and prestigious careers, no room for deviation, no room for failure, definitely no room for being gay. I knew I was different when I was 15 years old. Sophomore year at Evanston Township High School. Swimming team. I'd watch the other boys in the locker room and feel things I absolutely knew were wrong, dangerous, unacceptable. I'd have dreams about my teammate Chris, the captain, and wake up terrified and ashamed. I never told anyone. Never even wrote it in a journal. This was 1994. Being gay meant being ostracized, being beaten up, being disowned, especially in a family like mine. A federal judge's son couldn't be gay. So, I buried it. Completely. Pushed it so deep I almost convinced myself it wasn't real. I dated girls in high school, nothing serious. Sarah Chen junior year. We went to homecoming. Kissed in her driveway. I felt nothing but told myself that was normal. That real attraction came later. I focused on what mattered. Grades. Perfect 4.0 GPA, debate team captain, mock trial, model UN, building the perfect college application, building the perfect life that left no room for being gay. I got into Northwestern, full ride, national merit scholar. My father was pleased. My mother expected nothing less. Andrew got into Princeton 2 years later. The Hayes boys were performing exactly as expected. I met Jennifer Morrison my junior year at Northwestern. We were both pre-law, both political science majors, both in the same constitutional law seminar. She was smart, driven, beautiful. Strawberry blonde hair, green eyes, from a good family in Winnetka. Her father, Richard Morrison, was a senior partner at Kirkland & Ellis, one of Chicago's white shoe firms. We started studying together, then dating. It was comfortable, easy, expected. Our families approved immediately, the Hayes boy and the Morrison girl, a merger of 2 legal dynasties. We got married right after undergrad before law school. I was 24, June of 2008. Big wedding at 4th Presbyterian Church on Michigan Avenue. 400 guests. My father officiated as a federal judge. Her father walked her down the aisle. It was everything a society wedding should be. Our wedding night at the Peninsula Hotel, I performed adequately. That's how I thought of it then. A performance, an obligation. Sex was always something I did for her, something required to maintain the image of a normal marriage. I'd focus entirely on her pleasure, make sure she enjoyed it, then finish as quickly as possible and feel relieved when it was over. I told myself this was normal. This was maturity. This was what love looked like when you were an adult. Comfortable, not passionate, practical. We both started Harvard Law that fall, moved to Cambridge, lived in married student housing, studied constantly. She made law review. I made law review. We were the perfect power couple. Everyone said so. Harvard was brutal. Socratic method, cutthroat competition, 1,000-page reading assignments, but I thrived on it. Top 10% of my class, corporate law focus, mergers and acquisitions, big deals, big money, big prestige. Through Jennifer's father's connections, I summered at Morrison Blake after my 2L year. One of Chicago's most prestigious corporate firms, 200 lawyers, huge clients, billion-dollar deals. They offered me a position to start after graduation. Olivia was born when I was 27, first-year associate. I was in the middle of a merger when Jennifer went into labor. Made it to the hospital 2 hours after she was born. Held my daughter and felt something real for the first time in years. Being a father felt authentic in a way being a husband never did. Emma came 3 years later. By then I was a fourth-year associate, billing 2,300 hours a year. I missed the birth entirely, was in New York for a closing, flew back the next day. Jennifer understood. She always understood. That's what being married to a corporate lawyer meant. I made partner at 34. Youngest in Morrison Blake's 80-year history. $700,000 base salary. Percentage of firm profits. Corner office on the 42nd floor of the Aon Center with views of Lake Michigan. Partnership agreement signed in the main conference room with all the other partners watching. My father came to the ceremony, shook my hand, said, "You've done well, Robert. You've exceeded even my expectations." That's all I ever wanted. To exceed his expectations, to be the perfect son, the perfect lawyer, the perfect Hayes. But being a husband? I was failing at that, even though Jennifer didn't know it. Sex became less frequent, once a month if she initiated. Then every other month. Then only on anniversaries and birthdays. She'd try. I'd go through the motions. My body wouldn't cooperate. She'd sense the distance. We'd both pretend everything was fine. "Is everything okay?" she'd ask sometimes. "You seem distant." "Just work stress. I'm up for partner. Lot of pressure." Then after I made partner, just big deals. Lot of responsibility. Always work. Always an excuse. Never the truth. I worked constantly. 80, 90-hour weeks. Billable hours were everything. Client development, firm politics, rainmaking. Because being at the office meant I didn't have to be home, didn't have to pretend to be attracted to my wife, didn't have to perform heterosexuality. I never looked at men, never let myself, never went to Boys Town, never lingered in gym locker rooms, never Googled anything, never acknowledged what I felt. I was married, I was a partner, I was Robert Hayes of Morrison Blake. That's all I was allowed to be. Sex with men was something other people did, not federal judges' sons, not Harvard law graduates, not partners at white shoe firms, not fathers of 2 daughters, not me. For 39 years, I was a fucking coward. And I told myself it was discipline, told myself I was protecting my family, protecting my career, doing the right thing. I was lying. To everyone. Mostly to myself. Then, in May of this year, 2024, 3 months ago, we hired our summer associates. Every year, Morrison Blake brings in 12 law students from top schools. Columbia, Harvard, Yale, Stanford. We assign them to partners for mentoring. Evaluate them for potential offers after graduation. I got assigned 2 summer associates. One was Michelle Chen from Yale Law. Brilliant, hardworking, probably getting an offer. The other was Ethan Miller from Columbia. Ethan was 26 years old, older than typical summer associates because he'd graduated undergrad late, worked for a few years at a nonprofit before law school. Tall, maybe 6'2", dark hair, dark eyes, sharp dresser, always in perfectly tailored suits. Brilliant legal mind. Top 10% at Columbia, law review, moot court champion. I noticed him immediately, told myself it was because he was talented. Because he showed potential, because he'd be an asset to the firm, but it was more than that. And somewhere deep down, I knew it. I started giving him more substantive work than Michelle, more than was typical for summer associates. Real research on active cases, inviting him to client meetings, asking him to sit in on conference calls, staying late to review his work. All perfectly appropriate, all within the bounds of mentorship. That's what I told myself. But I'd notice things I shouldn't notice. The way he'd lean over my desk to point at something on my screen. The way his cologne smelled like cedar and something citrus. The way he'd laugh at my dry legal humor that nobody else found funny. The way he'd look at me sometimes, like he saw through the senior partner facade to something underneath. In early June, about a month into his summer program, we were working on a securities filing, complex disclosure requirements. I asked him to research a regulatory issue. "This is actually fascinating," he said, coming into my office with his research. "The SEC guidance from 2018 contradicts the earlier rule." "Show me." He leaned over my shoulder, his laptop open beside mine. I could feel the heat from his body, smell that cologne. My heart was racing in a way it hadn't in years, in a way it never had with Jennifer. We spent 2 hours going through his research. It was good, really good. Better than some of my junior associates. "You're talented," I told him. "You should be proud of this work." "Thanks, Robert." He'd started calling me Robert instead of Mr. Hayes. I'd told him to. "That means a lot coming from you." "Why?" "Because you're the best M&A partner in Chicago. Everyone says so. Getting to work with you is why I wanted to summer here." Something in the way he said it, the way he looked at me, made me think he meant more than professional admiration. One night in late June, we were working on a merger brief due the next morning at 8 a.m. for a court filing. Everyone else had gone home. It was just us. 11 p.m. My office. 42nd floor. City lights spread out below us. "This statute is going to be their main defense," I told him, pointing at my screen. "We need to anticipate their argument and diffuse it preemptively." He leaned over my shoulder to read what I was showing him, closer than necessary. "What if we argue legislative intent?" he said. "There's a Senate committee report from when this was drafted that suggests the statute was never meant to apply to this type of transaction." "Exactly. That's brilliant. Can you find that report?" "Already pulled it. It's in the research folder I sent you." I turned to tell him how impressive that was, and he was right there. His face inches from mine, close enough that I could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. We both froze. The air in my office changed. Something unspoken passed between us, something dangerous and exciting and terrifying. "Robert," he said quietly, using my first name, voice low. "I should probably tell you something, before this gets more complicated." My heart was pounding. "What?" "I'm gay, out since college, and I think..." He paused, looked directly at me. "I think you might be too, and I think you know I'm attracted to you." And I needed to say it out loud before I do something stupid and inappropriate. My entire world stopped. Nobody had ever said that to me. Nobody had ever seen me, really seen me. "Ethan, that's completely inappropriate," I said, but my voice was shaking. "I'm married. I have 2 daughters. I'm your supervising partner. This conversation violates about 15 different ethical rules." "I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'll request a different supervisor tomorrow. This was a mistake." He grabbed his laptop and left, just walked out. I sat there in my office for 2 hours, hands physically shaking, heart racing, because he was right. He'd seen what I'd been hiding for 39 years. And hearing someone say it out loud, someone who saw me, was devastating and terrifying and the most exhilarating thing that had ever happened to me. I went home at 1 a.m. Jennifer was asleep. I lay in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling in our $4 million brownstone, knowing that everything had fundamentally changed, that I couldn't unsee what Ethan had made me see, myself. The next day I called him into my office first thing, 8:30 a.m. I'd barely slept. "Ethan, about last night, that was inappropriate. We can't..." "I know, I'm sorry. I'm requesting a transfer to Michelle Chen's supervising partner. This is my fault. I shouldn't have said anything." "Stop." Let me finish. I closed my office door, something I never did. You were right. About me. And I don't know what to do with that. I've never told anyone. Never acted on it. I've spent 39 years performing heterosexuality, being the perfect son, perfect husband, perfect partner, and you just saw through all of it. He looked at me with something like compassion mixed with attraction. How long have you known? That you're gay? Since I was 15 years old, 24 years. I've never told another human being. I've never been with a man, never kissed a man, never let myself even think about it as a real possibility. Jesus, Robert, that must be exhausting. It is. It's been killing me slowly for 2 decades. We stared at each other across my desk, 6 feet of expensive wood and leather between us. Might as well have been the Grand Canyon. What do we do now? He asked. I don't know, but you're not transferring supervisors. I'm not running from this. I don't know what this is, but I'm not running anymore. We started talking, real talking, not about work, about life, about what it was like to hide for so long, about my marriage, about his life being out, having relationships, what it felt like to be authentic. It stayed just talking for 3 weeks. We'd work late together. Everyone would leave. The office would empty, and we'd sit in my office and talk about everything, about things I'd never told Jennifer, things I'd never told anyone, about feeling broken my whole life, about wondering if I was the only one, about the shame, about performing for so long I'd forgotten who I was underneath. He listened, didn't judge, understood in a way nobody ever had. Then, one night in mid-July, July 15th, we were in my office working on a case, but really just talking. About us. About what this was becoming. I should probably go, he said around 10 p.m., but he didn't move from the chair across from my desk. Yeah, I agreed. But I didn't want him to leave. Robert, if I don't leave right now, I'm going to come around that desk and kiss you. And that's going to change everything. Your career, my summer position, your marriage, everything. So I'm going to leave. And we're going to pretend this didn't happen. I should have said yes, should have reminded him I was married with kids, should have been the adult, the partner, the ethical supervisor. Instead, I stood up, walked around my desk. Then don't leave. He stood, looked at me. Are you sure? No, but kiss me anyway. He did, and it was like breathing for the first time in 39 years. Like every kiss I'd ever had with Jennifer or anyone else had been practice for a play I was performing. This was real. This was what kissing was supposed to feel like. We started an affair. That's the truth of it. An unethical, inappropriate violation of every professional rule affair. He was a summer associate under my direct supervision. I was a married partner. It was wrong on multiple levels, but I couldn't stop, didn't want to stop. For 3 months, mid-July through mid-October, we were together, my office after everyone left. His apartment in Wicker Park on weekends when I told Jennifer I was working. We were careful, or we thought we were. We were falling in love. I was falling in love for the first time in my 39 years of life. Real love. Not performance. Not duty. Not strategic alliance. Actual love. Jennifer knew something was different. She's not stupid. We'd been married for 15 years. She could tell when I was distant, when my mind was somewhere else. You've been different lately, she said one Saturday morning in early October. Happier, but also more distant. Is everything okay at work? Yeah, just a big deal closing. Lot of moving pieces. You're working a lot of weekends lately. It's a $700 million merger. Client expects availability. She looked at me like she wanted to ask more, but didn't. Maybe she suspected. Maybe she didn't want to know. Maybe she thought it was another woman, not a man. I don't know. What I do know is that sex became even more mechanical, more impossible. I couldn't even perform anymore. My body wouldn't cooperate because my heart was completely somewhere else, with someone else. This morning, October 15th, I got called into an emergency meeting. Senior partners only, all 7 of them. Stephen Morrison, Jennifer's father, David Blake, managing partner, 5 others, sitting around the main conference table in the glass-walled room on the 44th floor. "Robert, please sit down," David said. His face was grim. I sat. My hands were already sweating. I knew. Somehow I knew this was about Ethan. "We need to ask you some questions about your supervision of Ethan Miller, the Columbia summer associate." My heart sank. "What about him?" "Building security flagged unusual after-hours access patterns to your office. Multiple instances over the past 3 months of both you and Mr. Miller accessing the 42nd floor between the hours of 9 p.m. and midnight, sometimes as late as 2 a.m. We've been working on the Meridian merger. It's been demanding. We understand that. However, security protocol requires us to review surveillance footage when there are unusual patterns, especially involving partners and subordinate employees." They turned on the screen, security camera footage. Dated 3 nights ago. October 12th, my office, 11:47 p.m. The footage showed Ethan entering my office. Then, about 30 minutes later, it showed us, me and Ethan, kissing, in my office. Visible through the glass walls to anyone who might have been on the floor, which thankfully nobody was, except the security cameras. I watched myself on that screen kissing Ethan. Watched 39 years of carefully constructed lies explode in high definition. "Robert," David said quietly, "we need to ask you directly. Are you having a sexual relationship with Ethan Miller, the summer associate assigned to your supervision?" I could have lied, should have lied, denied everything, claimed the footage was taken out of context, said it was a momentary lapse, a one-time mistake, anything. But I was so tired, so fucking tired of lying, of performing, of being someone I wasn't. "Yes," I said. The silence in that conference room was absolute. "How long has this relationship been ongoing?" 3 months. Since mid-July. "And it began while he was under your direct supervision as a summer associate?" "Yes." Stephen Morrison, my father-in-law, spoke for the first time. "Does my daughter know about this?" "No, not yet." "You understand this is a serious violation of firm policy," David said, "of professional ethics. Mr. Miller is a summer associate. You're a senior partner. This is a clear power dynamic issue. Even if the relationship is consensual, the inherent power imbalance makes consent questionable at best." "It is consensual, completely. I initiated it. He was clear about his attraction. I made the choice." "That makes it worse, Robert. You abused your position as a supervising partner." "I know, I'm not defending it. I'm just stating the facts. We're going to need to conduct a full investigation, interview Mr. Miller separately, review all your interactions. Determine if there are any other ethical violations. In the meantime, you're suspended from the firm effective immediately. All access revoked. All client contact ceased. And Robert, you need to tell Jennifer before this becomes a public investigation. She deserves to hear it from you." Stephen Morrison stood, looked at me with something beyond disappointment, betrayal. "You married my daughter. You have 2 granddaughters I love, and you threw it all away for an affair with a subordinate employee? A male subordinate employee?" "I'm gay, Stephen. I've been gay my whole life. I should never have married Jennifer. That's on me. Not her. Me." "Then you should have figured that out 39 years ago. Not now, not like this. Tell her today, before I do." They all left me sitting alone in that conference room with my reflection in the glass walls. I drove home. Lincoln Park. Mid-afternoon, our $4 million brownstone, 3 stories of brick and ivy and carefully curated success. Jennifer's Volvo in the driveway. Girls were at school, soccer practice, wouldn't be home for hours. I walked in. Found Jennifer in the kitchen. She was planning our 15th anniversary party for next weekend. Had samples of appetizers spread out on the counter, invitations already mailed, She turned when she heard me, smiled, then saw my face. The smile disappeared. "You're home early. What's wrong?" "Jennifer, we need to talk, right now. Can you sit down?" She saw something in my expression. Her face went pale. "Is someone hurt? Are the girls okay?" "The girls are fine. Nobody's hurt. But something happened at work. Something serious. And I need to tell you before you hear it from your father or the firm." We sat at our kitchen table, the same Restoration Hardware table where we'd had thousands of family dinners, where Olivia did her homework, where we'd talked about college funds and vacation plans and remodeling the third floor. "I've been suspended from the firm. They're investigating me for an ethics violation. For an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate." "What? That's insane. You would never—" "It's true. I've been having an affair. For 3 months. With Ethan Miller. He's a summer associate. 26 years old. The firm has security footage. And Jennifer, there's more. Something I should have told you 15 years ago. Something I should have told you before we got married." She just stared at me, waiting. "I'm gay. I've always been gay. Since I was 15 years old. I knew before I married you. I thought I could make it work. I thought if I performed well enough, if I focused on my career and being a good father, it wouldn't matter. But I was wrong. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The words hung in the air, irreversible, true. "You're gay," she said, not a question, a statement, processing impossible information. "Yes. Our entire marriage, 15 years, 2 children. Yes. You've been lying to me since the day we met." "Yes." "And you're having an affair with a 26-year-old man from your firm who you supervise." "Yes. His name is Ethan. And Jennifer, I need to tell you something else. Something that might make this worse. I love him. It's not just an affair. I'm in love with him. For the first time in my life, I understand what love actually feels like. Not duty, not performance, actual love." She made a sound like I'd physically hit her, a gasp, a sob, something in between. "Do you understand what you've done?" Her voice was shaking. "You married me knowing you were gay. You let me waste 15 years of my life. You let me have children with you. You made me think something was wrong with me. All those years of you being distant, of sex getting worse and worse. I thought it was my fault, that I wasn't attractive enough, that I was failing as a wife. It was never you. It was always me." "That doesn't make it better. Get out." "Jennifer, get out of this house right now, before I call your father, before I call my father, before the girls come home. I need to think. I need to figure out what to tell our daughters about what their father has done. Get out." "Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't care. Go to him. Go to Ethan. Go to your lover. Just get out of my house." I packed a bag, threw clothes in a suitcase, grabbed my laptop, drove to the Ritz-Carlton on Water Tower Place, checked into a room and called Ethan. "Robert, what's wrong?" "They know. The firm knows. Security footage. I'm suspended. And I told Jennifer everything." "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is my fault." "No, this is my fault. Every decision was mine. Every choice. And Ethan, they're going to terminate you. Your summer position is over. I'm so sorry. I don't care about the summer position. Are you okay?" "No, but I will be. Can you come here, to the hotel? I need to see you." "I'm on my way." The firm fired me 3 days later, October 18th. Official termination letter delivered by courier to my hotel. Terminated for cause. Violation of firm ethics policies, inappropriate relationship with subordinate employee, abuse of supervisory position. No severance. My partnership interest bought out at the contractual minimum. 15 years of work, 15 years of 80-hour weeks and sacrificed weekends and missed birthdays. Gone. Ethan's summer position was terminated the same day. Columbia was notified. His offer for next summer rescinded. The firm made sure every major Chicago firm knew why. He'll probably have to relocate to find work after graduation. "This is my fault," I told him that night in the hotel room. I destroyed your career before it even started. No, I made choices too. I knew you were married. I knew the power dynamic. I chose this anyway because I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you too. And I'm sorry that's costing you everything. It's not costing me everything. It's costing me a job. It's costing you everything. He was right. Jennifer filed for divorce on October 20th, 5 days after I told her. Petition for dissolution of marriage delivered to the hotel. She wants full custody of Olivia and Emma, wants the Lincoln Park house, wants half my assets, wants me to pay for their private school tuition and all activities. She's entitled to all of it. I don't contest any of it. Her lawyer included a declaration from her about my moral unfitness as a parent, about the inappropriate relationship that demonstrates poor judgment and creates an unstable environment, about protecting the children from my lifestyle choices. I don't fight it. She's right to be angry, right to protect our daughters, right to take everything she can. Olivia and Emma know now. Jennifer told them 3 days after I left. Told them I was having an affair, told them I'm gay, told them I lied to everyone for their entire lives. I called Olivia 2 days later, asked if I could see them. She's 12 years old enough to understand, old enough to be devastated. Mom says you're gay, she said, voice flat, cold. Yes, I am. I should have told everyone a long time ago. I'm sorry. Did you ever love Mom? Yes, just not the way a husband should love a wife. I love her as a friend, as the mother of my children, but not romantically. So our whole family was fake? No, my love for you and Emma is real. That's never been fake. Being your father is the most real thing in my life. But you lied about everything else. Yes, and I'm sorry. I don't want to see you right now, maybe later, but not now. She hung up. Emma, 9 years old, cried when I called. Why did you leave, Daddy? Did we do something wrong? No, baby, you did nothing wrong. This is about me, about choices I made. But I love you so much, more than anything. Are you coming home? No, Mom and I are getting divorced, but that doesn't change how much I love you. Can I still see you? Whenever you want. I'm always here for you. But Jennifer controls access, and she's making it difficult. I understand why. I betrayed her, humiliated her, destroyed our family. This is her way of fighting back. My father called 2 days after the firm fired me. Federal Judge Thomas Hayes, 72 years old, appointed for life, respected, feared. Robert, I'm calling to tell you that your mother and I are profoundly disappointed. You've destroyed your career, your family, your reputation, the Hayes name. For what? An affair with a subordinate? I'm gay, Dad. I've been gay since I was 15. I couldn't keep living a lie. Then you should have figured that out before you married her, before you had children, before you built a career. You're 39 years old. You don't get to blow up your entire life and everyone else's because you finally decided to be honest. I know, you're right. I should have come out decades ago, but I didn't. I was terrified of disappointing you, of losing everything, so I lied. And that lie hurt more people than the truth would have. Don't try to justify this. You abused your position at the firm, had an inappropriate relationship with someone you supervised. That's not just about being gay, that's about ethics, about judgment, about character. I know. You're right about that too. I made terrible choices. I hurt people. I violated professional ethics. I'm not defending any of it. Then what are you doing? What's your plan? I don't know. Find another job. Try to rebuild some kind of relationship with my daughters. Figure out how to live honestly. With this Ethan person? Yes, I love him. You barely know him. 3 months of an affair doesn't mean you love someone. Maybe, but it's the first time I've ever felt this. Real attraction, real desire, real love, not performance, and I'm not giving that up. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, your mother and I need some time. Don't contact us for a while. We need to process this. Okay, I understand. He hung up without saying goodbye, But my brother Andrew called later that same day. Andrew, the surgeon, 2 years younger, always the perfect son after me. Rob, what the hell happened? I told him everything, the whole story, the affair, coming out, the firm, Jennifer, the girls, all of it. Jesus Christ, Rob, you really blew up your life. I know, but I get it. I mean, I can't imagine hiding who you are for 39 years. That must have been hell. It was, every day, every moment. I'm sorry you felt like you couldn't tell us. Tell me. I would have supported you. Would you? Really? Dad's a federal judge. Mom's a conservative academic. We grew up in Evanston in the 90s. Being gay wasn't exactly celebrated. No, but you're my brother. I love you. That doesn't change. I started crying. First time since everything fell apart. Thank you. That means more than you know. What are you going to do now? Find a job, somewhere that will hire me after this scandal. Try to see my daughters. Try to build a life with Ethan. Are you happy, despite losing everything? Yeah, I am. For the first time in my life, I'm actually happy, and that's worth everything I lost. The Chicago legal community knows everything now. Whispers, gossip. Did you hear about Robert Hayes? Affair with a summer associate. Ethics violation. Suspended. Fired. Gay. Ruined his career. I'm unhireable at any major Chicago firm. Morrison and Blake made sure of that. I'll have to relocate. Start over. Smaller city. Smaller firm. Smaller salary. But Ethan and I are together. Officially. It's been 3 weeks since everything imploded. 3 weeks of living in hotel rooms, of job searching, of divorce lawyers, of supervised visitation schedules, of disappointed parents and angry ex-wives and confused daughters. But also 3 weeks of being honest, of waking up next to someone I actually want to wake up next to, of not performing, of breathing. If you're watching this and you see yourself in my story, if you're a professional hiding your sexuality, if you're married and gay and terrified, if you're in a position of power and falling for someone you shouldn't, I need to tell you something. What I did was wrong. The affair was wrong. The power dynamic was unethical. I hurt people. Jennifer, my daughters, Ethan's career, my family, the firm. I don't defend any of it, but hiding who you are for 39 years is also wrong. Marrying someone you're not attracted to is wrong. Building a life on a lie is wrong. There was no good option here, only less bad ones. Should I have come out before I got married? Yes. Should I have been honest with Jennifer before we had children? Yes. Should I have ended my marriage before starting an affair? Yes. I did everything wrong, in the worst possible order, but I can't undo that. All I can do is stop adding to the lie. Stop performing. Stop hiding. I'm 39 years old. I wasted 39 years being who everyone needed me to be. The perfect son, the perfect husband, the perfect partner, the perfect Hayes. I'm done being perfect. I'm done performing. Yes, it cost me everything. My career, my marriage, my daughter's trust, my parents' respect, my reputation. $700,000 a year. Partnership at a prestigious firm. Everything I worked for since I was 15 years old. But I gained something I never had. Myself, the truth, love, real love. Not strategic alliance, not performance. Actual love. Was it worth it? That's what everyone asks. Here's my answer. I didn't throw away everything for an affair. I threw away a lie, a 39-year lie, and yes, I handled it in the worst possible way. Yes, I hurt people. Yes, I violated ethics. Yes, I should have done this differently, but I couldn't survive the lie anymore. It was killing me. And now, despite losing everything, I can finally breathe. Your story matters. Your truth matters. You matter. And you're not alone. And breathing, finally breathing after 39 years is worth everything.